Time for another episode of Council Bluffs Today. I am Todd Studer, and we have a special guest in the studio today. This is the Honorable Jill Shudak, the mayor of Council Bluffs. Good to see you.
Great to see you, Todd. Thanks for having me in.
I am, it's been a little bit coordinating schedules.
Yes. Busy 6 months.
Yeah, it's not as if you haven't been busy so far, right? And by my math, it wasn't that long ago that you passed day 150
Yes.
of your administration. So how do you think it's been going?
I think it's been going well. I spent the first 90 days really getting acclimated with the different departments, digging in, figuring out what works well, what needs to be changed, and then starting to work on some different things that I thought was really important to the city and to myself and to the staff, most importantly. And so now I think that we're on a good path and moving forward on some of the larger projects in the community.
What about some of those larger projects? Anything stand out to you?
Yeah. So East Manawa is one of those projects that stands out to me. We are starting to have different developers come in and pitch for the rest of the land that's down there, what that looks like. Looking at infrastructure projects, so Weston infrastructure, bike trail infrastructure. We're looking at potentially putting a park in on the east side of town. So some of those larger projects.
I had this idea a long time ago. No, somebody put it into my head. Wouldn't it be great if Manawa had a boardwalk? That'd be cool. Wouldn't we? I'm thinking about turning it into Okoboji.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
State park, though, so we don't really have a lot to say down there. But we could
true.
pitch that idea for sure.
Wouldn't that be a lot of fun?
Yes.
But I see that there is, in my mind, a good energy going on around town right now.
Yeah.
And we see like the different projects, and there's construction going on in many different locations. And we all know about how limited we are with housing and available housing, and how that has been a hindrance that has caused a lot of problems. And I'm seeing construction going up. A lot of multifamily places right now is what I'm seeing.
Yes. We have about 3,300 units in the pipeline right now in some form of construction. That's either actively being done, just getting completed with the treetop apartments, or in the planning stages. And so I have tried to highlight some different options around town, everything from First Avenue to Vets Highway, East Manawa project, out in Eastern Hills. We are building. And so we have a lot of multifamily in the works. And so I've told my staff to kind of start shifting and let's start focusing on owner-occupied housing, which is going to be really cool.
How is any locations earmarked for that yet, or are we still just trying to figure it all out?
We're still earmarked. We have a couple that are earmarked. Obviously, the East Manawa project, we are actually in the middle of building out. So if you drive down there, you'll see the slabs in and the frames going up. Those are owner-occupied housing with some grants and matching from the state funding that they will be $175,000 for a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Plus $30,000 down payment assistance. So that puts an owner-occupied house at $135,000, which is amazing.
Really?
Yes. We have
in this market.
Yes. So we have about 38 to 40 of those units.
Yeah.
They're already sold, and we have more lots that are reserved for that as well. So it's amazing.
I would think they'd be sold.
Yes.
Putting that together, those would go pretty quickly.
Yes.
When you start talking about growth of a city,
yes,
it just seems like every step creates the next step and creates the next step. And what pops into my mind is when you start creating places for families to come in with school-age children, now we got spaces in the schools that we have to deal with. And in a lot of the schools, they're running, class size is pretty large already.
They actually, if you talk to Council Bluffs Schools and Lewis Central, they're down on enrollment, and so is Trainer. I think Underwood has been pretty steady, but with the voucher program that was issued by the state, they've seen a influx of people going to homeschooling or going to private school. And so there's actually, you've seen some decreases in school size. Right. So there's plenty of room for, in both Lewis Central and in Council Bluffs Schools to take on new families.
That wasn't even something that I would consider with that, because I knew about the voucher program, but I didn't know that, okay, people are doing more homeschooling, so there's just not as many there, so creating a little bit of space.
Yes.
Is it learning today?
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yes. So
so that's exciting, and there's obviously infrastructure to take care of everything. The sewers go in, water treatment, all of these different moving pieces. There's a reason why I don't want your job. Okay, let's just put it that way, because it's a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And luckily, I have amazing staff, subject matter experts on everything. I am a hands-on person. I learn best when I'm in the room and I hear the conversations. I can hear the undertone and the context, kind of where we want to go. And so I try to be as involved as possible. My day starts out with walking around saying hello to staff at City Hall. And then I will go from everything from wastewater treatment to animal control to weeds to legal issues to complaints about an alley not being in a right condition. And so my favorite part of the job is how I learn every single day on a new issue. And I just think it's amazing and how the city works, and just to be informed on how it works is awesome.
You brought up animal control,
Yes.
which has been at the top of a lot of people's minds. Of course, just recently, the council voted to maintain the ordinance that keeps a ban on pit bulls inside of the city.
Yes.
This has generated a lot of emotion from folks, and it is sometimes tough to navigate. And I put out a show requesting that people just dial the rhetoric back a little bit. I'm not telling people how to feel, how to vote, how to do any of those things. It's just, it was going too far.
Yes.
And we had to get that back a little bit. But I wanted to give you a chance to talk about it, because I know that you publicly have taken the opposite side
Yes.
of the way that the council voted. So wanted to give you a chance to talk about that and talk about your views on that ordinance and just how you feel everything went.
Sure. First of all, I echo your sentiment. There's a time and a place to share your ideas and your thoughts and your disappointment in things. You'll see, I might say I'm disappointed or I'm not happy with the way how it votes. I never talk about boycotting or doing things like that. I don't think that people should be showing up at residences. There's a time and a place. Every council person has an email. You can come and have your voices heard during public comment at study sessions. But I do think it is important that your voice is heard and the community's voice is heard. And so, yeah, it's not a secret. I was working on this ordinance for quite some time. Councilman Gorman thought that it was time to vote on. I didn't. I think that there was time to get some more research done, to have the experts come and speak to the council. But he put it on the council agenda to have a vote on it at the last meeting, 2 meetings ago. And so that's kind of where we are. I don't think that it is something that is inviting to our community to have a ban on something. One of the things that we're doing right now is our Comp 2050 plan. And we've invited 2 high schoolers to sit on that plan, one from Council Bluffs Schools and one from Lewis Central. It's really important to me that we have voices of everybody in the community. And so why not have that next line of leadership sit in? And it's interesting because they both were disappointed with the outcome of that vote. In fact, one of the high schoolers from Lewis Central lives just outside county lines because she does have 2 pit bulls. And so when we're looking at how do we grow our community, how do we bring more people in, it's things like pets in our animal ordinances that community or families are going to be looking at to see, are they going to be here? Do they want to stay here? In the first 90 days, we had 10 families move out of Council Bluffs because of the pit bull ban ordinance. And so that's not inviting. We were talking before we started here. You can walk down the street and you will see pit bulls everywhere. They're just not being licensed and they're not being socialized. And so I believe firmly in dangerous animal ordinances, in pet ownership responsibility, and making sure that they are responsible owners. You had a council member say that he has a dog that's on the dangerous animal ordinance or dangerous animal list. 3 weeks ago, I sat in on a trial where somebody was refuting the fact that their dog was a dangerous animal. It was a Labradoodle. And so any animal can be dangerous. And I just think it's unfair to label pit bulls as a whole breed as something that needs extra protection. It has to be looked at the animal, and there's things that we can do, right, in order to ensure safety of the public. I think animals today in 2026 are looked at much differently than animals in the 90s, where you had the dog fighting rings and Michael Vick was occurring and it was national news year there. I think if you look at how animals were treated then versus now, they are a part of the family. There are animal lovers everywhere. And so we just need to look at animals on a case-by-case basis.
Council Bluffs Today brought to you by GLI Insurance Group. Summer in Southwest Iowa means road trips, backyard projects, storms, lake weekends, and a whole lot more time on the go. Before the season gets too busy, make sure your insurance is ready for it. GLI Insurance Group can help you review your home, auto, business, farm, and life insurance so you know what is covered before you need it. Local people, local service, and coverage built around your life. Contact GLI Insurance Group today and head into summer with a little more peace of mind. Council Bluffs Today is brought to you by Keith Jones, your Edward Jones financial advisor in Council Bluffs. Learn how he can help you reach your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com for more. Edward Jones, member SIPC. For me, and with the platform that I have, I don't get into picking sides on different policies.
Absolutely.
However, what I do is encourage conversations to be held the right way.
Yes.
And I think that a big part of a community is, how do we disagree?
Yeah.
How can we take something where we're coming at opposite sides, or maybe not complete opposites, but just different perspectives of the same issue? And how do we have those conversations? And how do we continue to move forward in a way that benefits everybody? That's my position. And I think that's my platform. You, on the other hand, you have the job of actually, you are supposed to take sides. So that, coming at it from a different place. But I do think that we need to be good about that. Social media aside, I mean, it is what it is.
Yes.
And, we can all just kind of descend to the lowest common denominator out there, and the loudest voice gets the most attention. And that's not always the platform to be able to do things. I do think people's voices need to be heard. I get the irony of saying this as I'm on social media. It's where I make my living.
Yeah.
But still, having the conversations and being willing to talk, and you're not always going to agree.
No.
And sometimes emotions will rise, but there's a way of doing things.
Absolutely.
And I think that, you and I sit in the same camp with that.
No, absolutely. And I think it's one of the things, I hate to say I ran on different things, but I want to be as transparent as possible. And so I use my personal page and my campaign page to make sure that the voters of the community have an option to come to me and say, this is what I want. I also knocked on thousands of doors and had conversations with people. And this was one of the issues that was very prevalent when I ran, was how do we repeal this ban? And so it was something that I am not always going to agree with the voters, but I was elected to represent them. And so how do I create ordinances or bring things to the council that makes our voters' voices heard and is still good for our city? And so that's kind of where I'm at, right? So not only was I in favor of repealing that ban, I'm in favor of the Humane Society to be able to do the TNR, the trap, neuter, release. That, again, was another big topic that we heard about. Data centers was another big one. And so I'm here to be a leader, but a leader is listening to the constituents. It's not just putting forward my agenda.
Another thing that I preached a lot on this show is that you find what you're looking for.
Yes.
And Council Bluffs has challenges. Needing people in office such as yourself to face those challenges. But if we don't look at what we're doing right, and we don't look at the positive, and we don't look at the successes, we start to think that all that exists is negative. And My opinion is, and I don't give my opinion a lot, but this is my opinion, we have gotten really good at pointing out bad. And as a community, I think that we just don't sing our own praises enough, and we're not our own cheerleader as much as we need to be. Doesn't mean that bad doesn't exist. It just means, hey, we got good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're starting to see that change. I think when you walk into City Hall, there's a different attitude there. I think it's really important for me. I go down to the farmers market, Spring Fest, Summer Fest, bike night. I'm pointing out, great coffee shops in town, different housing availables. I think I do the praising as good as I can, where I love to highlight amazing things that are happening in the community. So whether that is, a great Thursday night down at the farmers market or Springfest, all the work that's going in the community, promotions at the police department, it's really important, to your point, that we also talk about the good things that are happening here in town.
Well, and you're aware of what happened to me, and I am now living proof of how a community pulling together. And because right after I saw the result of somebody doing something bad, I was pretty defeated. And I made a post too soon talking about, okay, we'll talk about the future of everything in the coming days. And I was just flooded, not just online, but with text messages and phone calls and emails and everybody that had my contact information. Hey, no, don't stop.
Right.
Don't do that. And that is an example of what this community is.
Not only is that an example, but the fact that they found your equipment and didn't want the money that they paid to get it. I mean, that right there is the heart of Council Bluffs. And that's why I'm proud to be from this community, because we step up and we help our neighbors. And the fact that, the gentleman found it, knew it was you. That's how we know we're connected here as a community, but didn't want the money.
Oh, he wouldn't even take money from me to make him whole again.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's the but at the same time, when Katrina came over and did the story and we talked about it, that, Council Bluffs found another way to pay him back. And because I said, hey, go buy some tacos from Juan, will you? Because number one, they're good. He's got a great restaurant.
He does.
And two, he could use some love right now. And he said, that night he was just slammed. Just full.
You see that in all of the metro. And so, our neighbors across the river are hurting those businesses with the streetcar construction and things of that nature, or even up on Saddle Creek when they were redoing that with Sergeant Pfeffer's. Our neighborhoods and our neighbors show up to help each other. So whether that's cleaning up branches when, storms come through or somebody's having a hard time, we show up and it's amazing.
Good mornings start with peace of mind. My Nurse Healthcare provides professional in-home support where it matters most, helping individuals maintain comfort, dignity, and independence in their daily lives. Their experienced nursing team focuses on personalized care, clear communication, and supporting families through every step of the process. It is healthcare built on trust, compassion, and real relationships. Learn more at mynursehealthcare.com. Looking for a place to relax, recharge, and take better care of yourself? Kinetics Massage and Bodywork has moved into the Omni Center in Council Bluffs. Owner and licensed massage therapist Tina Hebner offers customized massage and bodywork designed around what your body needs, from relaxation massage to focused therapeutic work. And with the move into the Omni Center, Tina is building towards something even bigger, a larger wellness space for the Council Bluffs community. Take time for yourself. Schedule with Kinetics Massage and Bodywork at kineticsbodywork.com. Yeah. And it was something that I still get emotional about it. And people are going to get tired of watching me tear up after a while because it's a lot. But at the same time, more than just that is going on. We have an event coming up on the 3rd of July. And this is an example of a lot of different organizations and businesses, community leaders pulling together and saying, look, we need to have a celebration here. And I was so happy to see that this was happening, because when I was a kid and the bicentennial happened, every single town was doing something.
Yes.
And, my mother was planting red, white, and blue flowers out in the side yard, and all of these things were going on. And now we're we're seeing it happen again for the 250th. And I think it's important that we do that.
I think it's important not only for the 250th, but that we get back to something every single year. So when I was a kid here in town, at Scott Street Bar and Tavern, they used to host the street dance there in the back patio parking lot where TS Bank is right now. And I have fond memories of being down there with my family. And, my mom and dad were in the Beaverton area, but all the kids were running around and having a good time. And so it's something that I'm really proud of our community coming together. It's a good story. So Bobby Edwards reached out to me a few months back and said, hey, I have this idea. Would you be willing for me to come in and pitch it to you? And so we set up a time for the following week for him to come in and talk to me. And in the meantime, the American Legion, just down the street from City Hall, reached out and said, we have an idea that we would like to pitch to you. And so they both had the idea of doing something for 250th. And how do we pull this off? So I brought those two groups together, along with our County Board of Supervisor, Brian Shea. And then we started talking about what does everything look like and how do we do it? And, it was decided it would be down on the 100 block. And I said, amazing. Let's get the chamber involved. Let's get Jeff Coates, who owns and manages the Omni Center, for the parking lot involved.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Parking's going to be available at the Omni. And I thought, well, that was smart.
Yes. So
because parking's an issue downtown, or it can be. We got a lot of parking on the opposite side of the 100 block. But, when you put in an event like this,
Yes.
those fill up in a hurry.
Well, and you kind of look at it, Bobby and his team does a great job on bike night, but it's bikes, so they can line the streets.
There's thousands of them.
So you don't really worry about the parking. So as soon as we started talking about a non-bike night where we are going to actually do an entire family event, parking's a main issue. So we have to get Jeff Coates involved. And is he willing to allow us to use the parking garage? And he was so humble to say, absolutely. Like, these are the community events he wants to get behind. And then the team has just been going after getting other sponsors, community sponsors, to come involved. And it's going to be an amazing night. I think they have 2 bands scheduled. There's a family area. There's a kid zone with a hydrant party. So the city is going to send down the fire department to host a hydrant party for the little kids. It'll end with a drone show. It's going to be amazing. I think there's soccer. They're going to jump. I think you're going to hear about this, but they're going to have one of the bikes down there that does the stunts on a yearly basis and jump into the pit. It's going to be a great family event that kicks off the 4th of July weekend on Friday night. So
all of that is going to be happening on July 3rd. We're going to be telling you about it more. You'll see more shows talking about that event because it's a special time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And those are the great community events that we need to not only highlight, but celebrate and continue, not just with 250, but every single year afterwards.
Well, while we still have just a few minutes left, Jill, I wanted to ask you just your opinion about how things have been going and directions that you want to see, not just this year, but your office is for 4 years before coming up for re-election. So what are some of the goals that you personally have that maybe we haven't seen come to fruition yet?
I think you're starting to see some things out in the atmosphere as far as what we want to work on. I think the main thing is that we just need to bring our policies and procedures within City Hall and all of the city departments up to the 2026. So we talked about this. It's a national holiday today, Juneteenth. This is the first year that the city is recognizing that holiday. Also, MLK Day, we are going to start recognizing. Things like parental leave has now been established at City Hall, an updated dress code policy. A lot of our policies haven't been reviewed in 10 plus years. And so we are taking the time in this first year to review all of those policies and kind of bring them up to speed. From there, then that sets the new base level, and then we can grow from there and kind of do some fun and exciting things. As far as what do I like to see in the city grow, I would love, before my term is up, my first term is up, is to determine how, and if not get it completed, have a great path as to how to connect our bike trails. We have a lot of segments of bike trails, but they're not fully connected. And so that's one of the goals that I've tasked Zach Smith with Parks is working through how do we get these connected in a thoughtful manner, and get it done in a timely manner as well. We have amazing trails, like I said, and I think that that is the easiest way to connect downtown Council Bluffs to downtown Omaha. And we have a great amount of bikers here in town, a couple bike clubs, and so I know that that's a priority for them. Housing is going to be something, again, that we're going to continuously be working on. As I mentioned earlier, I think multifamily is kind of set for the future. We need to work on that next level. And then we're going to do some fun things. Some things I can't talk about yet, but revitalizing downtown is amazing. Looking at how do we become a very family-friendly environment. 100 Block is amazing. There's a lot of bars, a few shops. So how do we bring more family-friendly things in? And I think you guys are seeing that as far as some of the zoning ordinances. So no cat out of the bag here, but the hub is going to be putting in go-karts into the parking garage. So that was voted on by the city council a few weeks ago.
That's news to me. I hadn't heard it.
You got to be watching those city council meetings because you see a lot of cool things. So the main level of the parking garage is going to turn into go-karts, which is amazing. And then one that has already passed zoning but will come for a final vote for the city council is the old family Holy Name Family is going to be an indoor golf simulation situation. So we're looking at new innovative ways. Again, city not owning it, but we're there to allow that zoning to come in and take place and new ways to bring family-friendly events here to town.
No, I've got some ideas about downtown too.
I do too.
Some things that
we should share notes after this.
Yeah, I think so. But grateful for taking a little bit of time to come over and talk. I hope this isn't the last time we talk.
It will not be.
You're welcome. Listen, I'm easy to find.
I know.
You just cross the street.
We'll get this on as a regular scheduled, maybe
Sounds
once
good.
a quarter, come on in and have a conversation.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Love it.
So thank you so much, and thank you for the work you're doing. And we look forward to having you back in and keeping us updated.
Absolutely. Thanks, Todd.
All right. And we thank you for watching this episode of Council Bluffs Today. Do me a favor, if you click like, share, follow, maybe even subscribe, that helps the algorithm, gets all of this information out that Mayor Shudak was just talking about, and more people can even see it. Plus, it's completely free for you to do. So thank you in advance for that. My name is Todd Studer. We'll see you next time.